meeting, this part of the meeting? Okay, so if there are certain parts that you rather not be recording, then I will just turn it off. Okay, so these are the co-elevation promises that we have among each other. The first one is that we will speak courageously. So if there are issues that may not be too comfortable, we would still like to be able to share so we can all benefit from each other's thoughts and ideas. Then the second one is we co-create to innovate. So we work together so we can be able to innovate, to change, to be better than what we are. And then we break silos, which means that we're going to work together as a team. And that's how we can help each other and build each other up. And then we finish together. So that we would be able to arrive at a goal and a destination that we're striving for. And in the process, we will coach each other. So if you have ideas that would help, then we'll bring it out. And we lift each other up. So we kind of encourage each other. So we will all be able to learn together. And we are committed to one another. And we seek transformation. So we okay with those promises?
Excellent. Love them.
Okay, I think that's a good principle that we can all work on. What I like to talk about a little bit today is, I think last time we were talking about the 8, actually was it? Yeah, the 6. The 6 human needs, and those are the basics that we were working on. Let's see, I need to get to the page, which is page 14, and that thing, this will go faster this way. Okay, let's see, page 14, right in here. Okay, this is, let me just expand it a little bit and then maybe move that over. Okay. Okay. Do you see this one in here? Do you see the picture in here? Okay, so last time we talked about the 6 human needs, and I think I have sent, if you have requested for it, I have sent you that worksheet to see what you have found about yourself. So I guess Raphael got that, right? Julie, did you get that?
I don't know. I need to check my email.
Okay, that's okay. If you don't get it, I can send it to you again.
Okay.
Because on that, actually, you will find out exactly or pretty close to where you are in terms of the 6 human needs.
Okay, great.
Kind of just a recap is the first one is certainty. You want to be very secure, very safe. Second one is uncertainty, which actually could be like taking risks. And then the third one is significance. You want to feel very important. You want people to look up to you. And so, or you want a lot of power or material money or things that you will feel very, very good and people will be looking up to you. And then the fourth one will be relationship. You would have a lot of friends and very close to friends and family. And the fifth one would be for growth. That means you keep learning. You want to learn about a lot of different things. And then the last one is for contribution. You really want to be able to contribute to other people. So you will help, whether or not people ask you, but you would just volunteer to go do it. I think that's what we did last time. And Raphael, did you get a chance to actually work on that?
Yes.
And what did you discover?
So that was interesting, and I was I'm keen that you are bringing that again because I discovered something different than what I thought.
Good.
From memory, last time I was thinking about love and connection and growth and contribution, and I never really know which one goes first until Tony say in Leadership Academy that the more you contribute, the more you get some love. So actually, if you contribute, you will get even more love and connection. But when I fill up this one, the top one, and I mean the three top one, which was very close, 12.5 points was actually the top one growth. The second one love and connection with 11.5, and the third one contribution with 10.5. So between 2 points they are all together. But I was surprised in a way, and kind of understand that growth is still something which I'm very keen on and actively doing throughout those events with you guys, by going to all the 20 events where I'm learning a lot. I'm currently working a lot with the time of your life to really start implementing the RPM system for me. So growth is something that I'm very much focusing on as well. So yeah, it's that was a bit surprising to see that coming in first. But it's great to have this realization, so I can also better understand why I'm doing some of the things throughout the day, focusing more on I want to learn more something, or learn more about something, doing some of the RPM throughout the day rather than just connecting only with my wife and other friends, and you guys, which I really enjoyed.
So you found out the top one is actually growth, and then the second one is what?
Love and connection.
Love and connection. Okay. And then your third one is
contribution.
I see. Okay. Yes, I think you actually have the same three that you originally had, but it's just the priority maybe a little bit different than what you have anticipated. I think yes, I think I was also a little bit surprised too when I was finishing that up. It at first I thought I was a lot into growth and contribution. And I thought I was not doing that much in significance. But after I did that, I found that the significance was actually still very high. It got a 12. And then the growth is also getting a 12. And then the third one is contribution. So I think those are still there. But then the importance seems to have shifted a lot. Okay. I think Julie, you did not get the Excel form, right?
Right.
Okay.
I checked my email. I didn't get it in the email. But did something you posted in Discord and I just didn't see it? Or is it in?
No, she shared it.
It is right. Because I think last time if you wanted to send me an email. So I guess if you hadn't sent it to me, I might not have sent it to you. But I can send it to you again. So I think that's an interesting one to try out. So that's the first level that Tony really focused on the 6 human needs, because that impacts our decision. And then he said, decision affects our destiny. And this is the first level that he has. The second level is this 7 categories of belief. And that's what I want to kind of discuss today. He didn't mention a whole lot about this, but actually that is very important. The 7 categories starts with the first one is the global belief. What is it that you believe? Examples are if people say men are, then you complete the rest of the sentence. And or kind of a very general, broad definition that you have in your mind. So that is or certain groups of people. You can also think about that way, or certain ideas. Can you think of something that would fall into that global belief?
Life is fun.
What?
Life is fun.
Life
is fun.
Oh, life is fun. Okay. Yes. Okay. And Julie, can you think of anything in that global belief area?
People who have dogs rock. But I'm just,
okay.
Is that
okay.
correct?
Really, you rock.
Yeah, right. Okay. So that kind of is like a lens, a filter that we see things through. And the second one is identity. Identity is more like the question of who am I? What do you think you are? And the way you answer that will affect the way that you show up. So if your identity is that I'm a very honest person, if that's how you want to perceive, then you will try to do things that will match with that identity. Can you think of something that would support that, Raphael?
I am lovable.
What? I am what?
Lovable.
You are loving?
Lovable.
Lovable. Yes.
You're lovable.
Lovable.
Okay. Okay. And Julie, you got something there?
Would it also be like what I love? Like
it's your identity, something that you identify yourself with.
Okay, like
it's usually
I'm a
starting with I am.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So that's how you think of yourself. And then when you do something, you will try to do things that will match with your identity. This is what you think you are. And then the third one is primary question. Now, this is an interesting one because when I was listening to the tape, the creating lasting change, I don't think it was there, but I've seen that in some other places. Primary question would be a question that you keep asking yourself. Some people might ask the question is, why does this always happen to me? Or how come I always run into this kind of problem? So when they keep asking that kind of question, Tony said that your mind would come out with an answer. So if you keep asking yourself, how come this always sucks? Then they will come up, the mind will come up with answer to say, yeah, because of this 1, 2, 3. So that's why it's such a problem. And if your primary question is, oh, how come I'm so lucky? How come I always get the best of everything that I'm looking for? Then your mind would come up with an answer and give you again your answer to your question. So the important thing is pay attention to what is the question that you keep asking yourself. And Julie, you want to share something about that primary question?
No, that I have to get a better question.
Do you have a question that you always ask yourself?
No, I really, except that it's kind of what we were talking about before. What do I need to do today? What do I have today? I look at my schedule. What am I, what do I have to do?
Okay. How about Raphael? You got something there?
Yes, and before that, I just wanted to share that's great that we are reviewing that, because we are going to talk about this primary question during Date with Destiny.
Yes.
And redefine it. So I think for me, the primary question that I had in the past and that stick with me for a long time, and even from time to time, or this year when I was in the law, I could see it as well. Was what's wrong with me?
Man,
and
tough.
yeah, and the one that I defined last year at Date with Destiny was how can I experience even more love and connection with myself and others.
Good for you. And you find things changed since you changed the question?
If I'm incanting that question inside me every day, it will change. The thing is, I've done it for maybe a month or two, and then I stopped. So
and then you go back to the old question.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I recently started again, so that's why I can share it like that by heart. But it's priming yourself and conditioning it until it sticks.
Right. Thank you. That is so good. Yes, actually, that is a very common question. A lot of people ask, what's wrong with me? And I think if you keep asking what's wrong with me, your mind is like a very obedient servant. Whatever you ask, they will provide. They will just go dig out all the reasons why there's something wrong with you. Then you keep on going that route, then you're going to have a lot of things not so great happening. But if you change the question and say, how can I be so lucky? Then your mind will go run around and then trying to find out all the reasons why you are so lucky, because you're so nice, you're so sweet, people love you, and that will make you really, really feel good. So I think that's actually, I guess the first point is to be able to realize that's what happening. It is the recognition that, oh my God, why am I asking this question? Because without recognition, there is no way to change. You didn't even know that because it's happening subconsciously. So I think that's a very, very good point to notice what is going on in your mind without your actually knowing about it. Very good, very good.
What's
so the next, sure. My primary question, I am not really sure right now. I guess a lot of times I might be asking why. Why is this happening? What's that? So I'm more into the why right now. Instead of asking why does this happen to me? Because I think that probably is not because usually when people ask why is this happening to me, a lot of that is spoken in a frustration. That means they have already gone through something not so happy. So that's why they keep asking that question. But I think the first step is to recognize what question are you asking, and then second step would be, is this helping me or not? And if it's happening, go right ahead, continue with that question, keep asking it. But if it is actually making you very depressed, very unhappy, putting you what they call is in a, what kind of state did they say? They have a beautiful state? Oh, they have a suffering state. Right. So if that question puts you in the suffering state, then I would suggest quickly run away and switch another question and put you in a beautiful state.
The question that I said, I hate to say the word correct, but is that the type of question that would fit, or it's more about yourself? Like the question I asked about my...
It can be anything. I think Tony's question, primary question back in the day was, how can that be better? So by saying that, he was never satisfied with what he was doing, like being a perfectionist. And I can't remember how he changed it, but that can be a bit, not necessarily about you.
Okay.
Gotcha. I'm sorry, I didn't get the last part. What did you say?
it's not necessarily about you. What's wrong with me? Why is this happening to me? Why I'm always rejected? Yes, you can have this kind of question, but it can also be, how can I make it better? I mean, it's kind of always about, it's something about you, because even if you think, how can I make it better, is the presupposition there is that whatever you are doing is not good enough.
That's right. That's right. Yes. I guess if the question is focus on yourself, I think the difference is whether your question is focusing on yourself or outside of yourself. If it is outside of yourself, I think it may lead to a place where you can contribute or you can learn. If it is focused on yourself, why is this happening to me, or how come this happened, then it's kind of like looking backwards as to what has happened. And a lot of times our mind is more focused on the negative than on the positive. So therefore, you will end up bringing back all the past unhappy memories. And with that, it would put you in a suffering state because they already passed and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. So when the focus is over there, then you will feel like helpless. And that's what he calls suffering. Suffering is when you are in a situation, what he actually say is when your life condition is not matching your blueprint, what you want, and you cannot do anything about it, then that's called suffering. So his way to get out of that would be, one, either change your life condition, which would be great. If you can't do that, then the second choice may be to change your blueprint. Then you would be happy and you won't be in the suffering state. I mean, it's easy to talk about it, but I think doing it may not be that easy.
And that's where, to answer Julie's question, if she can hear us, the journaling helped me to be more aware of that and more aware of when I'm like, oh, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
That's how I knew that back in July when I was a bit like in the low. I was like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me all the time? Whereas now I'm like, oh, okay, how can I help experience even more love and so on? So that's where the journaling come in place, to become more and more aware of what you are telling yourself.
Right. Wow, that's really good. That's good. Julie, you want to add something to it?
No, I actually just had a question at the end of what you were saying about what Tony said. Did you say that, talk about if the question is reflecting, asking back about the past? Mm-hmm. I was dealing with my baby.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah, it's really sweet. Yeah. Okay.
But what did you say in that? Can you hear him breathing?
Okay. I think
him put it in a suffering state.
Okay, he said that if your life condition, where you are right now, is not equal to your blueprint, that means where you would like to be, if they're not equal, then, and you cannot do anything about it, you think you cannot do anything about it, then that would be a suffering state that you will really suffer because you feel really stuck. Like some people might say, well, I am in this current situation because I was abused when I was like 6 years old. And I am now totally unhappy and I could not do anything about it. Yes, you cannot do anything about the past. But if you change the way you look at things, then it could bring you out from that state to be a more positive place. That means like instead of looking at your past, looking at something you couldn't change, can you change your focus to think about where you are now or where you want to be, and either change your life condition, which is where you are right now, or change your blueprint? What would you would like that to be? I think he brought up the example of a woman who is like 59 years old, and she really wanted to have a family of like 4 kids, but she's single, she's not married, and she's already 59. Her blueprint is she would have a family of 4 kids and be very, very happy. But that condition is probably not going to happen unless she decided to go and adopt rather than have her own kids. So it is her current life condition is not equal to the blueprint. The blueprint is 4 kids of her own that would be in a family together. Does that answer your question, Julie?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so okay, maybe we can move on to the values. The values is something that is really important to you, and it guides every decision we make. Now, can you think of something that is in the area of a value, something that is really important to you?
Can I just ask a quick question?
Sure.
Is this is really, like Raphael, this is very helpful going into Date with Destiny in 2 weeks, but is this in time of your life?
This is in no, this is in the course that we just
Creating
finished.
lasting change, I think.
In what?
Creating lasting change.
Oh, right. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Right. And this is in the tape in this videos in the tape set, Creating Lasting Change. I think it is also in the program that we just finished, the Leadership Academy. And it sounds like this will be something that will be asked going into Date with Destiny, because there's some homework assignment. I don't know if you have looked at it. There is a set of homework assignment. And
thanks for reminding me.
And they're asking a lot of questions along these categories. So values will be something that is really important to you. Some people, like example, really value freedom. So they think it's really, really important that they be free. And so they would give up a lot of things in order to be free. Like I think, one thing is in the US, people really value freedom. There is a cost to it, and there's definitely a benefit to it too. So it depends on what your values are. Do you have anything you want to add, Raphael?
I can definitely relate to the freedom, because back in the day I was valuing a lot freedom, and if it was going against the freedom or feeling a bit controlled by my wife or my previous partner or my mom, throughout my childhood, I was pushing back. And now if I'm looking at my values, which is like unconditional love, divine faith, and holistic health for the first 3 ones. I'm just trying to think about how, what belief do I have about those? So for example, from unconditional love, I have a belief which is everyone is beautiful. And that helped me to see everyone as they are, and not judging them or anything like that. No, and even if they are not having the same standard as me, for instance, because it's all coming from what they are unconscious about, and I know that deep down everyone is beautiful in the inside, deep in the inside. So Yeah, that's one that actually helped me to see, to approach the world in a much more peaceful, beautiful state.
Yes.
That's
Good. Thank you. Julie, you want to say something?
I said that's gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you considered your values? What is very, very important to you?
Well, one is being authentic and genuine
Mm-hmm.
and real
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and not fake.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
How about yourself?
I would say honesty would be very important. It's almost like yours, I guess. So then you would be able to, trust yourself and the people that you work with. And that's the one that would create a lasting relationship. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe we can go to the next one. The rules. Rules are like specific rules or regulations that you go by. And so some of the rules can be very restrictive, and some of the rules actually can help you to go to the places where you would like to go.
Is it related to the values or not necessarily?
May not relate to values, but these are some rules that you go by. Some people might, I think that one example that I just recall from the tape was that some people say, I will know that you love me if you tell me you love me in the morning and also in the afternoon and also in the evening. And if you don't do that, that means that you don't love me. So some people's rules are very strict. And some people might say, that's okay. As long as you tell me that you love me, then I know that you love me. So you don't have to do a whole lot of things. So then for those, the rules are very relaxed. So do you have any kind of rules that you have that people or expectations that either yourself or other people would have to perform in order that you will feel a certain way?
It's so funny that Raphael, you asked about values and the connection, because that's immediately where my brain went in answer to that question.
Okay.
Connected. It's I don't know how you decipher, because my rule would be very similar to the values we just discussed, which is don't lie, be true.
Okay.
That's not a rule though, is it?
Okay. The rule might be if you lie one time, I'm okay. But if you lie again, that's a rule. I'm not going to forgive you, or I won't trust you. And if you lie 3 times, that's it. That's the end of story. You see what I'm saying? The value is still honesty. You're still valuing that honesty is very important. That's kind of very general, but you have specific rules to measure that. That's the way I look at it. Does it make sense?
Is there usually, yes, thank you so much for this. This is so valuable. Tony actually mentioned this in UPW, the beliefs, the global beliefs, the rules, your values, but of course going through it again helps, and especially with Destiny coming up. But did you say it usually has a 1, 2, 3 in it?
No, it doesn't have 1, 2, 3. I'm just saying. I'm just making it up.
Okay, because we both did.
Right.
So how would you distinguish rules from values?
I would think value is a very general thing. Like I would value, let's see, loyalty. Okay, so that is a value. So I would or I would value faith. Those are kind of intangible, something that you feel or that you do. So it's more intangible. I think it's broader. The rule is, okay, let's say I want to be very faithful. And then the rule is, okay, if you don't go to church, the rule is, that means if you don't go once, that means you are not really that faithful. It's just something you say. So the rule is more specific as to the conditions. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. How about Raphael? You want to say something about that?
Yeah, so the reason I was saying about rules related to values, because I remember last year during Date with Destiny, we do an exercise of, okay, what are your values and so on. And then we define what is the rule for each of those values. And back here, as you say, the roles, we usually have some rules which are very, very complicated to meet that values. And I can't remember exactly what was one of my rules, but to feel loved, the person needed to be doing that, and yeah, maybe like you said, to tell me I love you in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. And I changed that rule by, I remember whenever someone smiled at me, I feel loved. Mm-hmm. So I can see your smile right now, I feel loved. And that's a very, very simple rule to fulfill my values of unconditional love. And I was thinking of a rule which it's not really linked to a value, but I couldn't really find one, because one which came to my mind was like, okay, I like to be in bed by 10:30 p.m. so I can sleep quite early and wake up earlier as well the next morning. I'm more a morning person, and my wife is quite the opposite. So she is more staying up late, and or whenever we are going to bed, it's the time to connect. So it tended to frustrate me in the back in the day that I was ready to go to bed by 10:30, and either she was not coming or she was coming later and waking me up if I was already asleep, or we were staying in bed and we were, or she started talking, and I was never going to sleep before midnight. And the next day I was trying to wake up at 6 a.m. So anyway, long story short, that rule is actually, when I thought about that, was linked to my health value, which is holistic or vitality health. And I know that if I sleep 7 hours or more per night, that's great. If I sleep less, like last night, I don't feel as energized and really want to do things. So I have this rule, which is like by 10:30, I'm aiming to be in bed and ready to sleep. But I've been more relaxed with my wife and happy to connect more and more now.
I see. Okay.
It's not a hard rule as it was back in the day.
I know. Okay, this is what I think. I think that probably relates to the value of health. You really value health. You want to make sure that you're really healthy and energetic. And for you, in your body, in your physical, your natural clock, your clock actually goes off at 10:30. I mean, the clock say, hey, forget it. I need to go to sleep. I can't stay up any longer. Yeah. Some other people's clock can go off like 8 a.m. I mean, if you know about me, I'm like a really night owl. I mean, so night that sometimes I go to sleep at 7 or 8 a.m. or maybe even 10 a.m. Wow. And so there is definitely a real difference. But by understanding the difference between yourself and other people, kind of accept them. Okay, I'm okay. Now you want to go to sleep at 10:30, go right ahead. I'm not going to talk to you or wake you up. But again, you don't talk to me at whatever time. I think the rules is good if you make it explicit. I think a lot of problem, a lot of times it could be, I have this rule that I don't tell you, but I expect you to know about it. And of course, you don't know about it, and we don't have the same rule, and there comes the conflict. They call the unspoken rule. That's what making the problem in there. So we could both value health. I value health, and you value health, but the way we manifest that is very different. Mine is definitely not going to sleep at 10:30.
That's when the day starts.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. I probably should be living in Australia or Hong Kong. I'm doing the Hong Kong time in US.
Awesome. Did you UPW on Australia time? That's funny.
Yes. Julie, you want to add something to that?
I said, I don't know if you heard me. Did you do UPW Australia time?
Yes, I did. I really enjoy it. I like that because they start, I think, maybe about 2:00 in the morning, and they went all the way to the next day, about 10 or something like that. I said, great. No, they start 2:00 in the afternoon, and then they end at 10:00 or 9:00 in the morning. So I said, that's great. That's the time I go to sleep. So I slept. I got up again for the beginning of the next day.
That's hilarious.
That's right.
Would you care to go into, so next to rules it says source of heaven or hell within? Can you talk about that a little bit? Like, does that mean if it's not just what Raphael was saying, like when his rules did or didn't align with him, like that? Is that what that means?
I think that's pretty close. If the rules, if the rules that you have are being understood by whoever you interact with, then it would be really heaven. I mean, you really, really enjoy it. But if it's not, then it would definitely be a hell within yourself, and also in terms of the relationship, because that really upsets you tremendously, because people are violating your rules, or you are violating your own rules. Okay.
I think related to that and the rule of, back before I was living with my wife, it was by 10:30 at the latest. I was really in bed and usually already asleep. And at the beginning, it was a challenge for me. That was my source of hell, because she was never in bed, or hardly ever in bed by 10:30. And when we were, she wanted to connect. But now that I'm more aware of that, and we have been discussing about that, and I've been relaxing my rule between 10:30 and midnight, or sometime 1 a.m. like last night, it's fine. I'm just skipping the alarm clock the next morning. Now I just remove it. That's now more a source of I would say even a source of heaven, because I know that for her, she loves to connect at night. So we can share, we can connect before going to bed, and that we both enjoyed it at the end of the night, even if we stay a bit longer awake.
That's good. That's good. Sometimes it may be just the number of hours. See, I need to have at least 5 hours sleep. If it's 4, then it's not good enough. 5, I think, is almost the minimum. And if it goes to 7, I think that's okay. If it goes to 8, I said, wow, that's too much. I'm wasting time in here. So that's sort of my rule.
I have a similar feeling that when I'm sleeping too much, I feel more tired than when I'm sleeping 6, 7 hours.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Julie, you want to add anything?
No, thank you.
Okay, maybe we go to the next one. The next one is called vehicles. Vehicle is the way you get that accomplished. Example would be a vehicle would be if someone really want to be very significant. One of the vehicle they have, maybe they have a lot of wealth. They want to have like a lot of money. So that is one way. Or they own many, many different businesses. So then they have a lot of people looking up to them. Or they, whenever they go out, they got plenty of people, many people going, following them as if, they are the leader. So those are the vehicles, the way that you, the thing that you use to show whichever need that you have. I don't know what it means by virtual villains, but that's maybe the vehicle could be a visible or invisible, something that you utilize to get your needs met. Does it make sense?
That's the one that I'm struggling the most to really understand what it means.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just trying to read the
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Vehicles. What are the vehicles that you use to try to meet your needs? Like here,
Right.
For example, money, career, physical body, relationship, religion, problems, suffering, pain, helplessness. And what are your virtual villains, like time, boss, co-worker, family, the world, the past, the future, the present?
Mm-hmm. So what does virtual villains mean? I didn't quite get that.
So for example, time, I never have enough time, I guess. Your boss, my boss is just a pain in the ass. My co-worker, my family. Oh yeah, my family was my virtual villains at one point. They always want some of my time. The world, the past, present, or future.
Mm-hmm. I think the vehicle is what you use. What is the thing that you use to meet your needs? Some people might use, as you said, possession, the money they have, the things they have, the houses they have to meet their need of significance. Or some of the people might have a lot of kids or a lot of friends that they want to be with. So that's the vehicle to achieve their needs of relationship. Mm-hmm. So in order to meet your need of, let's say, growth, you might end up taking a lot of classes. You are taking every class that Tony has. Listen to every tape that he has. That's a vehicle. Which could be virtual. I mean, right now we are doing things virtual. So can you think of any vehicle that you use to satisfy some of the needs that you have?
So if I'm thinking, the platinum membership for the growth needs,
the certainty needs,
the growth, the significance.
Yeah, the significance.
I'm a plat.
Okay. That definitely is very significant.
Yes. The love and connection as well, by connecting with all of you guys and contributing.
I would say probably
variety, it kind of meets all the needs.
And then I think he said if there is something that you do meets 3 or more of the needs, you will continue doing them.
You become addicted to it.
Yes. And that could be positive or negative.
Yes.
That's
If I'm thinking of a negative one, where I'm meeting a negative need, probably when I'm overeating, or I cannot. So for example, I've always, or I cannot stop myself from eating if there is food on on the table. So whenever I'm at a party with some friends, or and there is usually abundance of food, or whenever there is a buffet in the restaurant, or all you can eat restaurant, I'm not going there anymore.
Okay.
Because I will really try to eat everything that I see, and what I've noticed. So what made it meets the variety needs of I can try different foods, and usually I will be afraid of missing out if I'm not trying all the different foods that there is on the table. I get some love and connection through that as well. Gross contribution, no. Significance, I did in the past when there was like challenges, like the 1 kilo steak to finish it. That was a significant need. And so, yeah, so that's more a disempowering way to meet my needs.
Okay. Yes.
so. I asked you about applying the virtual villains though
Yes.
to it. So I kind of looked at those as triggers though. Maybe I'm not looking at that the right way though. So are they problematic to so vehicles are ways you get things are used to meet a need. How do you reconcile villains with that? Are they negative ways of meeting a need, or are they anti-meeting a need?
Probably negative. Yeah. That's why it's called villain.
So if I'm thinking about one of my with my best friend back in the day before my entire transformation, I was always walking home together, and we were gossiping somehow about all the other people in our work, our boss, how she was not really showing the example and so on, or some coworker which were doing a crappy job or anything like that. And that was our way to meet our like love and connection need by gossiping about other people.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. You know, they went over a little bit about this. I understand because we went over a little bit about this in UPW.
Yes. Yes. I think that what we would like to be able to know is to recognize what vehicles are we using to achieve our needs, and are those vehicles positive or negative? Okay. They could be visible or they could be invisible. Like, the gossip would be definitely invisible. You don't even see it, but you can hear it. And they are negative. They're not really helping towards a more positive outcome. So that would be considered as a villain. Okay. Maybe we'll, yes, Julie?
No, I have to think more about this. Yeah.
Okay. I think the last one we have is situation-specific beliefs. It's kind of like an exception. One exception I can think of is that one of the belief or one of the global belief that you might have is we shall not kill anyone. There should be no killing. But there are specific situation-specific beliefs. Some people might say, yes, definitely, we shouldn't kill, but except in these two situations. One situation could be in the death sentence, like someone had murdered another person and found guilty, so that person should die. So that's an exception. Another exception could be, yes, an unborn child, the baby is there, is alive, but since you didn't really plan for it, it's inconvenient. So you can go ahead and abort that child. So in that sense, some people might say under specific situations, this is an exception. So those are the examples that I can think of.
Heavy. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I was just thinking, so for example, we have this rule with my wife, I will never leave you unless you cheat or you beat me up.
Mm-hmm.
So is that, no, it's not really, it's not a situation specific belief. I'm not sure if that's it.
I think that is a specific situation,
Yeah.
because in your global belief, your promise, I will never leave you, except you decided to leave.
Which are specific situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it is not totally unconditional love. If it is definitely unconditional, that means no matter what you do, no matter what happened, I still love you. That would be unconditional. But I don't know if that's possible or not.
Definitely possible.
Okay. That sounds like an exception. You say overall, like 99%, I will believe or I will do this. But in this 1%, that's an exception. So that would be the situation specific belief. There is actually another category which is not listed in here. I think they called it meta something. I couldn't even.
Metaverse?
Is that metaverse?
I don't know. I just heard that.
Okay. It's a different category, and I think he has probably a whole section of the tape that he talks about that. Let's see if I can find it. It's called the meta program.
Oh,
the meta program. It's I can give you a few examples on that one. One
maybe
example.
Before, if you don't mind, Rose, sure. I just thought about another specific situation,
sure.
situation-specific belief, which is like, for example, I don't want to kill anyone.
Yeah.
But if you threaten my kids, or if you point a gun at my wife or my kids or anyone that I truly care about, I might go into killing you if that's the last result. So that's where the situation specific. If the guy is holding a gun against someone that I care about, I might be going against my global belief.
Or pointing a gun at you, that would be self-defense. Yeah. Yes, right. So yeah, very, very, very good example. I think that is good. Judy, you want to say something on that?
No, I'm good. I did type something in the chat to you, Rose. I won't be able to stay as late as I normally can tonight. Do you know how long you're gonna go till tonight?
I think maybe the most is half an hour. Oh, are you okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, all right, that's great. That's great.
I have another meeting in half an hour as well. So.
Okay, Yes. I think the last one, it didn't mention in here, but I think it might be good to be aware of that. I think it's called meta program. There are actually quite a number of meta program in here. Some of them might have already been covered in some other places. It's like how you process things. I think you might have heard about that. Some people process visually, like they like to read, then they can pick up a lot faster, or they like to see something. And those people usually speak a lot faster because in the head, they have the whole picture and they want to get the whole picture out. So they speak very fast. I think myself, I'm definitely visual. So sometimes I speak really fast. Second group will be auditory. They like to process it by hearing. So they learn a lot by audio, like audio program. I mean, that's their favorite. And then when they speak, they're usually a little bit slower and more intentional on the words that they use or the tone that they use. So, and then third one is kinesthetic. Those people like to be able to have a feeling and a touch. So they learn by touching or by feeling, and in the words they might say, I got the feeling that's what's happening. So that actually comes out in the words. And for the auditory, they might say, oh, I hear what you're saying. That sounds really good. And I like the sound of it. And then for the visual, they might say, I see what you mean. That's a good picture of what is happening. So those are the three major ones. There's a fourth one called digital. Now that one I'm not too familiar with, but I don't know whether you have some thoughts on that. Digital, I think it sounds more like computer to me. Any thoughts on that, Raphael?
It does sounds like computer. I remember hearing about that. So the three is what they call the submodalities: visual, kinesthetic, and so on, auditory. And the digital, he quickly talked about it, but I can't remember exactly what he said. And it was also a bit confusing for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure.
Same, but great explanation, Rose, on the others. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Do you have any thoughts on the digital?
No, same as ditto to what Raphael said. I can't remember.
Okay. Maybe I just mention a couple more. One is called, one of them is a matcher. So whatever you say, they say, oh yeah, that's right, that's good. I've thought about that one too. So they will go along with whatever you say. They are the natural matches. And a lot of times you would really love to be in their company because they really support you and they agree with what you say. Now, there's another group of people which call the mismatcher. Whatever you say, they will disagree. They say, yeah, right, but, always this but coming up afterwards. So those people may be a little bit more challenging to work with because they don't always agree with you. And it really depends on your own personality or your way of dealing with it. I think people who like significance, they probably don't like the mismatches because they always not agreeing with what they say. Significant people would like to have the matches with them. Yeah, that's right. That's good. Let's do that. So because it is really, really encouraging. And I think there's maybe another one is close to that is the towards versus the away from. The towards is they would probably be more related to like more pleasure driven. They like to go with certain things, and then the away from would be the ones who would rather move away. So that would be kind of like the pain. So a lot of the changes, he said that it started with pain because the person is experiencing so much pain that they have to change. Like someone have like a very, very heavy, like 300 pounds. over or 200 pounds overweight, then there's a lot of pain, and that pain kind of drive them to doing some changes. But the pain will get you to start the change, but would not keep the change going. The one that keeps the change going is the pleasure that you get, the enjoyment that you get. And that's what's going to keep you going and maintain that situation. Well, there are many of them. What? I'm sorry.
Very, very, very true, Rose.
Yeah. And this is very interesting. I actually did a survey. I have that whole list. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe if I stop sharing. Oh, probably not so clear, right? Because I have a whole page. You can probably get that in the Create Lasting Change, that tape set. They are all in pairs. And then so I do a survey, I talk to different people, and I say, okay, comparing the two, which one are you? Are you more a possibility person or more a necessity person? A possibility, that means that you will focus on what is possible, what is happening. So always moving forward. And the necessity is you have to do it. I mean, if you don't do it, then you would have problem. It's very close to the choice or the way or the pain and the pleasure. And then another one could be future or the past. Some people are more focused in the future, so they are more towards people. And some people are more focused on the past. And so they keep thinking about what happened in the past. Usually, a lot of times when they focus on the past, they are more into what's not good, what happened that did not work out. So so that's where that was. Okay, so I think that covers the 7, maybe 8 categories of belief. Do you have anything you want to share, like maybe any thing that you're working on, any challenges, anything that you want to talk about, or anything that happened within the past that you want to share?
No, I think this is so super helpful. Sorry to interrupt you, Raphael. Go ahead.
Yeah, nothing really that I have in mind.
Okay.
How are we using these? I find going over this so helpful, and you did a magnificent job, Rose.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
But overall, and then looking individually at these, so the 7 categories of belief, and those last ones that you brought up, are they all within the 8th one within the meta program? Yeah,
the meta program is actually should be number 8.
Right.
It was mentioned in some of the, I think it was mentioned in the Creating Lasting Change, but they decided to skip over it because the meta program itself is quite long. But they do have a section in the tape to talk about the meta program. And that's where I pick up all this in here.
It is amazing to distinguish between these 8 and how to use them.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your question.
It is amazing to distinguish between these 8 and how to use them.
Right.
For ourselves and the needs and others.
Yes. I mean, it's a lot of information, but if we can kind of look at them and practice them and recognize them, that it will be very, very helpful. Because all this actually will impact this last one that we're not going to talk about today, is the emotions. And it's the emotions that drives the decision. And it's the decision that drives the action. And it's the action that determines the destiny. So that's why when we go with Data Destiny, we will be looking at that quite a bit too. Yeah, just one thing I want to share is that Since last time, I have signed up with a marketing program called Mojo Global, and I find them actually very, very helpful. What they did for me is that they put together a LinkedIn profile. They actually updated my LinkedIn profile, and they will also be doing a banner. So if you want to, you can go into LinkedIn and you can look for my profile. You can take a look at that. And also they have a couple of software that would help me to go into LinkedIn and choose the people that I would like to connect with by putting in specific categories. Example, geographic location. If you only want to meet with people, let's say from the East Coast or from Canada or from whatever region, you can put that in. And you can specify what industry you want to, and also the level of position they are, and what kind of industry. I think I said that. So then you will be able to really target the people you want to connect with. And now I haven't really completed the whole thing yet. I'm just beginning. So I have received like a lot of videos that I need to go through. But then they would also help you put together messages that you can send to this group of people that you have selected. I think is sending a message through LinkedIn. I think they have a limitation on how many you can do a day. You can send that messages, and also there will be samples on how to do follow-up on the messages. The goal is that they will be calling you on whatever program that you have. And then after the connection, if there is a match in what you are doing and what they are looking for, then there is a possibility of engagement. So that's kind of the process. So I don't know how it will relate to whatever that you are working on. Are you working on a specific program, Raphael?
Not anymore.
Okay.
With everything that I purchased, now it's time to implement and to take massive action. So I'm starting with the time of real life and doing more and more RPMs. That's my focus for the rest of the year. And what I want to, how I want to use it as my first kind of project is to know my numbers of everything that I'm spending, everything that I'm investing, so I can really be on top of that. And that's a project that I will use to implement RPMs.
So you are not working on any kind of program at all?
What do you mean, like from a coach, from someone like that, or no?
Okay.
I'm not.
Because, okay, maybe I'll give you the example. I don't know if you know about what I was actually working on. I'm working on two programs. One program is to be a coach or a coaching class, a workshop for women CPAs who just started the practice, because I want to work with them and help them grow the practice much easier than the way I started. I started my practice like almost 40 years ago, and it was really, really rough because I had no client when I first started. So it was very, very difficult for me. So that's why I want to be able to put a course together and help them. But then before I can do that, I need to be able to reach the CPAs. The second thing I want to do is to create a nonprofit organization for low-income seniors, single mothers, and their dependent kids. Yesterday, I was trying to do an RPM for that. It's a huge project. There's no way I can do it all by myself. So I am looking for partners. Thank you. I'm looking for people who can help with this project, because this project actually changes the way that it's being done right now. Because currently, both in US and Canada, I don't know about Australia now, all the seniors are in one place, in one group. All the kids are in another group. The single mothers, they probably are in a different group too. So we have 3 separate segregated groups. And those groups, because they are segregated, they suffer in a way of, they kind of don't have hope, kind of like a very hopeless. If you imagine a senior home, always hoping for people to come and visit you, but everyone is so busy, so they can't even do that. So then there's actually a very hopeless and depressed situation. Same thing with the kids, always wishing someone to come and play with them, but there's no one around. So by putting them together, it's almost like back to a traditional family, when you have the grandparents, the parents, and the kids. And the parents will work with the kids, and then the grandparents work with the kids, and then the parents go out and learn something, do something, and be able to contribute. So that's the environment I want to create. Not only that, I want them not just to sit around and be served. That's what it is right now. You have all the people serving. They have to work. So the seniors will work in there, the same with the single mothers and same with the kids, depending on how old they are. So they will be working to support and to serve each other. So then they will have a feeling of contribution rather a feeling of depression and dependency. So by being able to contribute, that will increase their mental health and be happier, and also reduce the cost of running the facilities. Because now you have workers, you have more workers, although they will be paid, but they would be a lot more dedicated because they live there. So they see all those people every day, every hour. So that's kind of a new way of managing. And that is a huge project. So it will require tremendous resources. So I was hoping to be able to connect with a lot of these different groups on LinkedIn and be able to collaborate. So if this happens, I tell you, it will be a miracle. Yes.
It's what you will have created and manifested.
Yes.
What work were you foreseeing for the seniors?
The seniors will be working, assuming, the seniors will be in a situation of a independent living, because for the seniors, they have different categories. One is called the independent living. They are still able to do stuff themselves, take care of themselves. So they will be actually working with the kids, maybe, to teach them, to watch over them, depending on the age of the kids. They could be little babies, they could be, young, maybe teenagers. So depending on the seniors, what kind of experience they had before. So they could be working with them. Or if they don't like to work with kids, they can always work with in the place, in the housekeeping area or in the food preparation area. So there are a lot of things that they could do. And then the kids, depends on the age of the kids. So they can work with the seniors, maybe in the garden, learning. So everyone will be kind of like both in the learning and contributing space, rather than sitting back to be served, waiting to be served. So then they will feel that there is contribution, that life will be more meaningful. So that's kind of the ideal.
What about if the seniors have health issues? They won't be there?
What? I'm sorry?
What about if the seniors have health issues? They won't be there? Or
if they have very significant health issues, that means they will actually need assisted living or skilled nursing. They would not be there, because then they will be going into a different facility. That's a different level of care. So the people would stay there, not forever. Like the young mothers, they will stay there until the time they are independent. They are able to have a good job and move out. They can move out with the kid, or they find a new, partner, husband, and then they can move out and start a new family. So that's one situation, they will move out. And then for the seniors, they probably will stay there for as long as they are physically able to, until they got to a point where they really need a lot of help. They need people around them to be taking care of them because of the health situation, or they can't even walk around or feed themselves. Then they would have to go to a different facility.
Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Are you looking to form a new nonprofit, or to be picked up by an existing foundation, and or to get a grant?
Actually, it could be all three. To start with, maybe a nonprofit under another nonprofit, because that's kind of like a baby. You would need to have someone to kind of, groom you. And it could go that way. The funding, of course, it would need funding from a lot of government funding to start with, and also could be foundation grant, could be private donations. Actually, among the seniors, I was thinking maybe 10% of that group could be people who are actually wealthy. I mean, wealthy meaning that they already have everything all taken care of. They already, the family is grown, or maybe one of the spouses is no longer there. And they also have maybe a big house, or they have assets, but they don't want to live alone by themselves, because sometimes there are a lot of situations that like one single person is living in a big house, and they are waiting again for people to come. And sometimes that may not be the best thing to do. So if they want to, they can actually donate to this nonprofit, pretty large donation, and then they can have a space in there, and they will be taken care of for as long as they live, until the time they physically they cannot be there. Then they would be moved to a different facility. So, and these people, I would expect a lot of them could be professionals. I mean, they are still healthy, and they can still do a lot of things. So they can also contribute to the group as mentors, as coaches, as trainers, to all the people who is in the facility. So instead of just all by themselves, kind of being very lonely and depressed, then they would be able to contribute. Yes.
Oh, you froze. Instead of what?
I say they could also be able to contribute to the bigger group. And at the same time, they could be learning too. I mean, they could be learning things that they are interested in, and be contributing at the same time. Kind of working on the last two needs. The need for, actually, this will actually be meeting a lot of the needs. There will be, loving connection, a lot of people not alone, and they could have significance because they are teaching, they are training, and definitely growth. They will learn things that they may not have had before, because now, instead of all alone by yourself, you would be in a different environment. And absolutely contribution. And there is the certainty that you have a place to live, you have people around you. That is certainty. And there is also the variety, because, I mean, with so many people, you have different personality, you have different programs. If you don't like this program, you can go change to another program. There are programs for seniors, program for young kids, program for young women. So there are many options. So that's my ideal.
That's fantastic, Rose. I'm just conscious of the time, because in 2 minutes I have another meeting to jump on.
Yeah, we are leaving soon.
But I love the idea, and when you were asking me about the project and so on, I would love to discuss more about that, because I have also, so in terms of project and why I'm doing what I'm doing, my big purpose and so on is to end loneliness in the world. And it's similar to like people which are living by themselves, or people which are even in a relationship where you feel lonely because you are not really with your own, or connecting anymore with your partner, more like flatmate. And so on. So that's something I would be curious to know more about, and I can help you to brainstorm about ideas how to make it happen. But right now I need to jump on to the next meeting. So,
yeah.
Love that idea. Thank you again for everything today. That was great to go through those categories of belief and to be more specific on that. That was fantastic.
Okay.
Are you both going to?
Yes. What?
Yeah. Are you both going to Date with Destiny?
Yes, I'm going to, but it's virtual though. I'm not going there physically. Yes, right. Yeah. So I want to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. I don't know. You guys celebrate Thanksgiving in Australia? No.
Not really.
Not really. Okay.
But I did try the turkey a few times.
Okay. Very good. Very good. I'm so glad that you're able to join us. And we are not going to have any meeting next week because it's Thanksgiving. And the week after is Day with Destiny. So we'll meet the week after that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Sounds
much.
good.
That will be the 9th.
Mhm.
Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. So I know both of you need to go, and I think I need to go have my dinner too.
Yes.
And thank you very much. And so great to be able to meet with you guys and then have a chance to chat and learn from you. Okay.
Thank you very
All
much.
right.
And
Thank
enjoy
you.
your nights of work.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you. Good night. Good night. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Talk soon.
Bye bye. Yeah. Talk to you too. Bye bye.